The most sought after jobs in banking and finance are in sales and trading and investment banking, but what job should you actually pick for yourself? Let's dive into it. First of all, let's actually define what these two jobs are. What is investment banking? Investment banks more or less help clients and government raise funds in the capital market, either through the issuance of debt or through the issuance of equity. So what exactly do people in sales and trading do? The role of sales is to sell financial products to the client. The role of trading, very simply, is to execute client orders. Now, in terms of degrees, what should actually study at university if you want to work in IBD or in sales and trading? For IBD, more or less if you study finance, economics, accounting and finance, any single degree that more or less gives you the accounting knowledge needed to build models, but also that business and finance knowledge will more or less work. So for IBD, the more typical finance roles will suit very well. For sales and trading, it really depends on the exact role you want to do. Some sales and trading roles require you to have an MSc or even a PhD in some sort of financial engineering or some complicated subject. But if you don't want to be a quant and go into that, most sales and trading roles, honestly, you can literally study anything. If you want to be an FX salesperson or you want to be an equity salesperson, all you really have to do is understand how the equities market works and how the FX market works. And to do this, yes, if you study finance or math or economics, this will put you at an advantage. But for sales and trading, more times than not, if you study sociology, history, French, you can work in sales and trading. But obviously, if you study finance or economics, you put yourself as a higher probability of landing that job. Now let's go into hierarchy. What is the hierarchy in sales and trading versus investment banking? More or less the same thing. You start with an analyst, and then the highest level is the MD. For an analyst, for both roles, more or less you spend around 2 to 3 years. And more times than not, as an analyst, you just have to perform at an adequate level and you will get promoted to associate. For an associate, it's typically 2 to 3 years, but actually for an associate to be promoted to a VP, you actually have to perform well. And more times than not, it's at this point that promotion is really not guaranteed. You literally have to show up and show off to get promoted from associate to VP. And once you get to a VP, this is also called a team lead. Now you really have to show a lot more to get promoted. People stay at VP for 10 years, 15 years. There's people that are called lifelong VPs. After VP, the next step is ED, which is more or less also a team lead or a global lead. And to be an ED, a different ED more times than not needs to leave and then you take that position if it's an ED as a team lead. If it's an ED that does independent work, then that's feasible. But to get to ED level, it takes at least 3 years as a VP. If you're exceptional, maybe you get promoted in 2 years, but more times than not, at least 3 years to get to the ED level. Most people don't get to the MD level. MDs are far and few between. Like, it's literally like you can count on your hands how many MDs there are at all the banks. And it's just because that is a very prestigious level and most people can't reach it, because to get to the MD level, there's so many different things that have to go into it. And honestly, most people want to get to VP, ED, they're quite content with the high pay, work-life balance, and they just decide, you know what, it's not worth it trying to become an MD, which I very much understand. Now let's talk about salary, which is what most people care about. Is there a big difference between IBD and sales and trading? For IBD, I've talked about this like in 5 different videos. We have the latest figures from eFinancial Careers about what first year analysts are making if they work for a top investment bank. On average, it's around 85k total comp. And for sales and trading, and honestly, it would not be that far off. I don't know what the exact figures are and I can't tell you, but from guessing, it's a front office role. If IBD is getting paid around 85k, they can expect to make something similar if you work in sales and trading. Obviously, over time, that also increases. And yes, if you work in sales and trading, you still get paid a bonus, because if you work in sales or in trading, you're more attached to a specific team. So for example, you could be in equity sales or you could be an equity trader. If that year, the equity trading desk performed better than last year, then you see your bonus increase as well. Similar to IBD, your bonus is based on the bank's performance first. So all things being equal, good year for the bank, bigger bonus. Then your team's performance, all things being equal, better team performance, your team made more money, better bonus, and also then your performance. In banking, you're more or less rated every single year. You're given feedback, a rating, and that rating will literally influence what your bonus is going to be. So if you did well in your first year and then your second year didn't do as well, then your bonus will also reflect that. Now let's talk about hours. In banking, the hours are typically around 70 to 100 hours, and sometimes you actually work on the weekends. In sales and trading, the hours are a lot less because this is actually dependent on the market opening and close, especially if you're in trading. Yes, you might need to do some outside work, some back testing, some extensive research, but your hours will be less if you work in sales and trading. And also, more times than not, you don't have to work on the weekends. Even in banking, you don't work on the weekends every weekend, but that's more feasible in banking. If you're enjoying the video so far, guys, please drop a like and also leave a comment. It goes a long way. And let me know what else you want to see from me in the future. Now let's talk about exit opportunities. If you work in IBD, there's a lot more exit opportunities than if you work for sales and trading. For IBD, you can go into buy side, so you can go into venture capital, private equity, hedge funds. You can even go into corporate finance. You can go into corporate restructuring. You can go into consulting. You could decide to actually start your own firm. But when it comes to sales and trading, this is very narrow because more or less what you've done is just looked at financial markets the last 10 years. So for sales and trading, more times than not, people start their own hedge funds, or they join their own hedge funds, or they start their own trading firm. You're more or less confined to doing a business that revolves around the market. So 100%, if you work in IBD, you have a lot more exit opportunities, like a lot more. Now, when it all comes down to it, which one should you pick? You should pick IBD if you don't mind working longer hours, working on weekends sometimes. The pay is a bit more, and also if you don't mind doing accounting and financial statements. You should pick sales and trading if you really love financial products. You love talking about options, FX, equities, Tesla up and down. If all that stuff really interests you, then you should pick sales and trading. And also, if you enjoy the more technical aspects of finance, then 100% sales and trading will be the job for you. Thanks for watching the video, guys. Hope you found that somewhat useful. Like, comment, subscribe, and see you in the next video.